We are in our data sets now, and then we will be talking about mode, median, and then mean. That's the central tendency, how to calculate them. And we will be performing these calculations on the age of our employees that we have here. This. So now let's head in. How do we find the mode of the? Remember we said mode simply refers to the most occurring value in the data set. So we type out equal to, and we use the mode function just as we have here, most commonly occurring value in the data set. So after typing in the mode, we now go into select our range of data. So we select these cells and then hit enter. Now we realize that 18 is the most occurring value in the data set, so that's our mode. How do we find the mean? Mean is the mean function. We use average for finding the mean, so we use the average function. As you can see, a numerical average value in a data set, and then we head in, we select our data set and hit enter. So you see the average age of the employees is 24 years old, and the most occurring, meaning that the most occurring is 18, meaning there are a lot of 18-year-olds in that company. And then the median, the middle value, we use the median, as you can see here. (21). So when we arrange all the data sets and we find the middle value, we realize that 21 is right in the middle of what we just did. All right, so now let's proceed to the measures of spread. Measures of spread, as we know, includes the maximum, the minimum, the range, first quartile, second quartile, third quartile, variance, and standard deviation. As we said earlier, it talks about the spread or variability of. So now let's proceed to find the maximum of that age range. We use the max function here, then we select from this to this. We've seen that the maximum is 35 years old and the minimum. So let's just copy this and change the formula from max to min. Let's paste it here and change this because the column number is still the same. Let's hit enter. And then the minimum is 18. So what did we say the range to was? The range is simply subtracting the minimum from the maximum. So we start from here, equal to, click on this and subtract by this. Then we have 17. So 17 is the range. Now how do we find the quartile? The first, second, and third quartile. We use the quartile function. So we type our quartile function here. We select our range of cells. That's this. Hit enter. And then we specify here, after bringing a comma, we type in the numeric value indicating the kind of quartile we want to check for, being it the first, the second, or the third. So with the first, we put in 1 and then we click on enter, and we've seen that our first quartile is 19. But first of all, let's always remember to arrange or sort the data in ascending order. So let's say this row like this, we go to data, sort range, sort column B from A to Z, so we know it's in ascending order. Then we can proceed to find our quartiles. So this is the first quartile, and we'll be doing the same for the second quartile. So let's copy this formula, copy it, paste it here, and then change the value to 2, meaning second quartile. Then we hit on enter. This is trying to predict it to the third quartile, but we change it to 2, and then we hit on enter. So this is the second quartile, and then the third quartile, the same thing, but we change here to 3. We hit enter, and so now we have our first quartile to be 19.5, second quartile to be 21, and then the third quartile to be 26. And so there is what we call interquartile. The interquartile refers to the difference between the third quartile and then the first quartile. So I will quickly create a column here, set one column to the right, and name it interquartile. So interquartile, we subtract the first quartile from the second quartile, the first quartile from the third quartile actually. So this minus this. Then we have our interquartile. So now let's find the variance. Variance, as we talk about, is how far the values are from the mean. So now let's check. Variance is pretty straightforward. We just type it AR, and then we select. We have 33.1, and then we realize we've seen 33.1, and then the mean, when we check here, the mean is 24. So I think it's average. It's not that far, the values are not that far from the mean, and it's not that close to the mean also. So the standard deviation, as we talked about earlier, is the square root of the variance. But well, let's still find the standard deviation of all the range of cells. So standard deviation, the function for standard deviation is STD even. That stands for standard deviation. So we use that function, go into select our data sets, and then hit enter, and then we realize we have 5.75 for our standard deviation. So to check if that's true, let's just find the square root of this and see if it matches. And square root is SQRT, as you can see here, square root of this value here, and then we click on enter. Realize that the square root of this is the same as this. So standard deviation is just the square root of the variance. So we'll take it like that, and this is where we bring to an end how to calculate for central tendency, and then there are our measures of spread or dispersion. In the next video, we'll be talking about how to use pivot tables to get all these informations easily. And then one tip also, to find quickly the maximum, minimum, the sum of a particular column, just highlight on that particular column and look at the bottom right here. You can click on it, and then you have a summary. You have the sum to be 451, the average to be 24, the minimum 18, maximum 35, and a count of 20. So this one tip you can use in maybe when you want to have a quick glance of these kind of descriptions or statistics. So see you in our next video. Have a nice day.